It's like
Yeah.
that guy's cool. Plus, you weren't hit with the ugly stick, Brandon.
There you
You're a sharp looking guy, and
I'm
I
a
say
very
that
good
as a
barber.
lesbian. Okay, so that means you're freaking hot.
I've got a good barber that comes here, so
Yeah, yeah. No, you tell your mom and your dad thank you
for the jeans.
for the jeans. Yeah. Welcome to the Expert Authority Coach Podcast, the one-stop spot for entrepreneurs, coaches, authors, and business owners just like you who are ready to rise, shine, and finally be seen as the go-to authority in their field. I'm your host, Christine Blosdale, also known as the Expert Authority Coach, and my mission is to help you build a magnetic brand, grow your visibility, and turn your expertise into real, lasting influence and income. If you want to dive deeper, head on over to my website, expertauthoritycoach.com, where you can explore all the groovy stuff that I've created for you. And you can even book a free discovery call with me. I'd love to hear from you. Once again, head on over to expertauthoritycoach.com to book that free call today. And if you're enjoying the show, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's ready to step into their expert authority as well. You can share the love, and only good karma will come back to you. I promise. Alrighty, so let's jump into today's episode. Welcome back to the Expert Authority Coach Podcast. I am your hostess with the mostest, Christine Blosdale, and I am joined by I've been really looking forward to this interview because this cat he is original, authentic, and unapologetically himself. And if anybody that knows the kind of branding that I like, it's when people come straight out and just say, "This is who I am. You either love me or hate me," or whatever. But I'm going to get your attention either way. My guest is Brandon Willington. He is the founder of Where You question
Yeah.
mark. And we'll
Yes.
get into that great branding as well. And basically, he delivers marketing for people who hate marketing.
Yeah.
And that's half of my clientele right there,
Yeah.
Brandon. I just want you to know. Thanks for coming on the show
Thank
and
you for having me.
for, for giving some of your coaching tidbits and gems along the way. But let's start off with the origin story, shall we? How'd you get to be the mega star that you are?
Well, mum wanted me. Mum's Asian, so I had to be like a lawyer, a doctor, or the first president of Australia. She
Yes,
wasn't super fucking thrilled when I dropped out of. Sorry, by the way, can I swear? I
go
like.
right ahead.
Cool. I'll try to pull it
We'll
back
mark
a
it as
bit.
clean and then people will be shocked. That's okay. That's all right.
But she wanted to be a lawyer, doctor, first president of Australia. She was happy when I went to university, but then she wasn't thrilled when I dropped out and said, I want to make this local DJ thing work. And then the natural progression after picking what song plays next is trying to get more heads through the door. And so I became a nightclub promoter. And obviously, nightclub promotion's pretty ruthless. Like, it's very competitive. You're like fighting to get heads through the door. And like at 21, my social battery was burning out at like 21, 22. So I was
Oh,
like,
already.
surely there's an easier way to get like strangers to rock up that doesn't require me to like go to the pub down the road and like bribe them up the road with like drink tokens. And I actually had a mixtape go viral, and I was in the US because I was doing a gig there, I think in New Mexico, and me and my mate were like exchanging courses we illegally downloaded off the internet because we were broke DJs, we didn't have any money.
Right.
And so I had like, what was it? It was Ty Lopez's social media marketing
Oh,
agency.
yeah.
Remember that thing, like the OG one? And I had nothing to do on like the 37-hour trip back from LA to Perth, and there was no Wi-Fi on the plane. And so I was just like, well, I'll just binge watch this entire thing. And then I got back to Perth, and I was like, oh my God, like this is going to be my whole personality for the rest of my life. And it was like all I talked about. And any of my mates that had to drive me home when I was drunk, I was just talking about the Pixel while I was like lying in the backseat of their car. And then if you just talk about something enough and you meet enough people, which you do in nightclubs, eventually like some of them are like, yeah, do you just want to do this for me for money? I was like, yeah, that'd be great. Money would be nice. And so, yeah, like I just got a couple clients that way. My first client actually signed me up to a cult. That was annoying. And
That's
then
annoying. That can be annoying. The cult sign
so
up thing.
annoying to get out of them too. And then and then yeah, like it kind of just snowballed and my ADHD hyper obsession with Facebook ads kind of led me here.
Oh, Facebook ads. Oh, do you do that? Do you do the Facebook ads?
I spend right now, how much do I spend a day on ads? I think I spend like 8 or 9 grand a day on Facebook ads.
You're kidding me.
I love it. I wish I could spend more. The only reason I can't spend more is I need to hire more sales
Okay,
reps.
we need to bottle you up because yeah. Well, because I have clients that are like, can you do this? Can you do that? I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then they go, can you do the Facebook ads? And there's silence. It's like it's kryptonite to me.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. It's confusing. I don't like it, Brandon.
Yeah, like a lot of people will have a very avoidant relationship with it. Like often it's like you logged into Ads Manager, you looked at the interface, you saw these rows and columns of data, these numbers and three-letter acronyms, and you just look at it and you go, fuck that.
Yeah,
And then you
yeah.
just close your tab. And then like as a business owner, you're like, oh, I'll delegate this, right? But the person you delegate it to hasn't been doing your service for years. They haven't been talking to your customer for years. They don't understand the industry. They don't understand the jargon, and so they try to download your decade of experience providing results for your clients in a 45-minute Zoom onboarding call, and then and then they also had to send you ads to approve anyway. And when you don't like them, like you basically turn into a copywriter anyway. And
Right.
so the only thing that you avoid is like, what button do I have to press next? One of my mates, I was doing his ads for him, and he helps me with like organic content. And he was texting me the other day. Well, this is like a couple weeks ago, because I was doing his ads for him, and I was like really busy with a webinar that I had on, and I was kind of like annoyed. I was like, dude, like this comes from a place of love, but you're being a bitch right now. Like you're waiting for me to press buttons on a keyboard to grow your business for you. Like you're the most financially incentivized person to do this. You're waiting like 2 or 3 days for me to build a campaign for you. I was like, you're being a bitch. Just go into Ads Manager and look at the buttons
Yeah,
and
oh, it's
work.
easy for you to say, Brandon. It's easy for you. I go in there and it's like an Excel sheet. Same thing with Excel sheets. I'm like, bleh, ugh, don't
It's
like it.
in Facebook's best interest to be as easy to use as possible.
But
They
it's
actually,
not.
if you log into Ads Manager, there's a big green create button.
Yes.
And then it says,
I have a
and then
feeling.
no, 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 actually this will be useful for everything, right? So I have a performance and a flow coach. He's a sports psychologist. I don't know why the fuck he works with me because he works with like UFC fighters and shit like that. But he taught me, and this is doesn't just apply to ads, it applies to anything. So like you have process goals, performance goals, and outcome goals, right? So have you ever played like chess before or like a board
No,
game or anything like that?
it's too
So like
hard.
if you talk to anyone that plays chess or like, well, what's a hobby of yours?
Making money.
Making money. Okay, cool.
I
And
like
so like
that.
how do you do that,
There
right?
is
Like
a
what's
process and there's a strategy. Yes,
yeah, right. But when you find flow is when you focus on the next step, right?
absolutely.
And so if you log into Ads Manager and you look at the outcome of my ads aren't on, I freak out. You're not gonna be able to find flow. But when we do our 2-day workshops with members, I tell them like, look, the process is what button do I press next? If you can just focus on that, it's like, all right, there is a green create button. Let's
Yes,
press that. And then it
that's
asks like,
good.
and then it says like, the next thing is like, what's your objective? Is like, I'd like leads. Great, there's a button for that. Just like break it down into chunks. It's not that hard.
Well, so do you teach your clients how to do that, or you do it for them if they want to pay you gads of
No,
money?
there's not an amount of money on earth they could pay me to do it for them. Because I know because there's no unless they give me 51% of their company, they'll always be more financially incentivized than me for it to do well. They're always going to move faster than me. They're going to understand their customers
Right.
significantly more than me. They're the most qualified person to do the marketing. They like I love people that comment on my ads and they go, "Oh, who, not how." I'm like, "Motherfucker, you are who. You just need to know what button to press next." You go to an agency, right? This is what happens. You go to an agency, go to a senior account manager, and it does all right for a while, and then you get downgraded to a junior account manager, and they're like working part-time in this agency. They're doing a like bachelor's of commerce at Curtin University. They're probably like working remotely in like Ubud and Bali or some shit like that with their dreadlock pale skinny white boyfriend, and he smells, and you expect that person to be able to grow a business faster than you. They don't log into the bank account every single morning. They don't know the cash flow. They don't have payroll on
Right.
Monday. They don't have letters from the taxation office because they have bills to pay and lights to keep on. And you outsource it to a 22-year-old. Insane.
Okay. So how do you so how do you do you have like regular classes? You have programs that you teach people how to do this stuff?
Yeah, we do it like pretty regularly. Like we sit down with business owners for 2 days and like just teach them the process. Like this is how you write an ad. You already know your customer better than anyone else.
Right.
We just had to
Right.
like get it out of your head down onto paper, right? All the stuff that you hear on a day-to-day basis. Unfortunately, because you hear it all the time, you kind of take it as a given. So I had to sit and think for 2 minutes and think, hey, like what do people say to me like when they talk to me on sales conversations or when they're really happy, like why are they happy when it does well? Like what frustrates them before they came to us? And then all you need is three things, right? We call it the three C's. Ads that get clicked from the right people,
Yep.
a landing page that converts that click into a qualified lead, and then a conversation that closes that deal, right? Really
Absolutely.
break it down, that's all it is. Clicks from the right people, landing page that converts, and you say the right words. That's
Yep.
all it is, right? And
Well,
so like
especially
building,
with coaches as well. Like, I mean, for me, my whole goal, it's not to give away a bunch of different guides and have people come into my email database and lead magnets and stuff like that. My goal is having that strategy session, having that
yep,
discovery call,
yep,
because I won't be able to know where to take that person anywhere until I have that conversation with them,
yeah,
right?
100%.
Yeah.
Right? And like prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. So
Yeah.
if you just sent someone to your website with a checkout page and they purchased it, sure, you might get the financial transaction. Do you know if they're actually a good fit to work with you or not? It's like, no.
Exactly.
But if you talk to someone, you find out they're not a good fit, what should you do? You shouldn't sell them. You should point them in a better direction. And if you have a consultative sales conversation, you actually sell with ethics and morality,
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
wins.
Well, and also there's some people that you don't want to work with.
Yeah, that too.
There's some people that are paid in the that.
Do you want to know, you'll like this actually. So back in, I think it was December, I had a theory I could predict someone's behavior based on their response to one question.
Hmm.
And so in our application, I added a question that said, we call it our red flag test. Which best describes your approach to learning and implementing new things for the business? And there were four multi-choice options. Options A and B were variations of, like, I like having a plan, but I know this is going to be a little bit of trial and error. I'll need to make adjustments along the way. Fair enough. Options C and D were variations of like, I'm gonna get frustrated if this doesn't fucking work immediately. And then what I did was for like a full financial quarter, 3 months, I just left the questions there and just measured who was doing what. Then at the end of the 3 months, we stripped out all the data. Anyone that selected the options C and D, which by the way, if they booked a call, it added a little red flag emoji next to their name in the calendar, or
Yeah.
for us, just internally so we could see. And they had half the show rate and half the close rate of the A and B options. And then also the ones that did come through, whenever we got like a complaint from a member because it didn't work immediately, or they found like what button do I press kind of annoying, it we checked them in the CRM and it had like red flag next to their name.
So you knew it was predicted already.
Yeah, now we just don't even let them in.
I've I've had that, I've had somebody that wants to be in my mastermind, and I really didn't want them, and I
Mm,
was just I basically like I got rid of them off of my email list and everything
mhm.
because I just didn't want to deal with them. You know what? Because it's energy. We're
Yeah,
all about energy in that exchange, and
yeah,
you want to be with people not just that listen to you and do what you say, because that whatever, but you want to be with people that are excited to be working with you, and you are excited about what they have to offer as well. You
yeah,
think this is bloody cool.
yeah.
One of the speaking topics that you like to converse about, and I think this is really important because this is a show from coaches to coaches about
Mm,
coaching, right? And one of your speaking topics here is, dear coaches, being great at what you do does not make you a great marketer.
mm,
And man, this is the truest thing I've ever seen, because you can see people. I know authors, I know service providers, coaches, consultants, and they are really good at what they do. They just suck at marketing.
yep.
So what are just some easy peasy tips other than click the button that says, the green button.
Mhm.
What are some things that you can give our audience that might help them a little bit when it comes to marketing and the dredge of marketing if they feel that?
Yeah, absolutely. One of my core philosophies with marketing, perhaps principle, is meet them where they're at. So you don't want to speak at them from a distance. So if you imagine a mountain, you're up here, like, hey, I worked out how to get up here, and they're down here. You don't want to speak down to them,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they can't relate to where you're at. You need to pull yourself down off the mountain, stand next to them, and explain and describe where they're at right now and where they want to be instead, right? So what you want to be thinking is where they're at right now, what is exactly that is going through their head. So I'll give you a couple examples. So when they're watching your ad, we don't want to be talking about the journey yet. We just want to go. So if I'm doing an ad for with you, it's like, hey, you've gone through like 5 different agencies right now. Every single time you've tried to delegate the lifeblood of your business, it hasn't worked out for you. I talk about the things I talked about before. You were a senior account manager, then you had a junior account manager. It took them 2 months to onboard you. You needed leads tomorrow though, right? That's where they're at. They go, and they're listening and they go, oh, this person understands me.
Yeah.
And then we talk about the destination, right? Which is like really what you want is you want consistency in your lead flow. You want quality leads. You want to wake up in the morning, there's actually bookings in the calendar. You've got discovery sessions there. You're not sending a billion cold DMs on Instagram, getting banned for sending too many messages. And then we can explain the messages. Like, well, that's why we sit down with business owners for 2 days. We build out their ads with them. We build their landing pages with them and hold their hand for 6 months afterwards, right? So that's meeting where they're out in the ad.
Yeah.
Right. Now that they're on the landing page, like, well, what do we want to see here? What's going through their head now? Where are they at now? Well, is that what we're skeptical? We're skeptical for sure. So how do we address and speak to that? Well, testimonials, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
FAQs, like what are all the things that's going through their head? Even in the show rate, right? So if you're a coach, you need to have these discovery sessions, these strategy sessions, whatever you decide to call them. Even in the nurture sequence, like what's going through their head right now? And like actually think about it. They're excited but skeptical,
Yes.
right? They booked the call because they want information. However, they might need to wait 3 or 4 days to get that information. And humans are interesting. Humans will just, if they want information or there's an open loop in their head, just to close the loop, they'll make up a story in their head and they'll agree with it. Happens all the goddamn time,
Mm.
right? So let's say, for example, I use this example in the workshop, you're in property investment. And someone books a call on a Friday afternoon, but they won't talk to you till Monday. They've got Saturday and Sunday to talk to a family member at a barbecue and have mum go, no, don't do the property investment call. Your father got scammed in a pyramid
Yeah.
scheme. And they goes, oh, okay, well, that must be true. They'll tell themselves that story and then not rock up on Monday,
Yeah.
right? So what information do we need to give them where they're at now to progress them to the next stage? So they go, oh yeah, this person actually understands exactly what's going through my head. When you nail it, the goal should be you get on the sales calls with people and it goes like, it's like you were reading my mind
Mm.
the
Mm.
entire way through.
That is really a nice feeling when that is lovely when that happens too. When you're
Mm.
talking to somebody and they're like, "Where have you been all my life?"
Exactly
That's
right.
exactly where I'm at. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I agree. I'll say this too, and I try and convey this to my clients as well, who have service based businesses.
Mm-hmm.
We really need to be offering the things, the services, the programs that people actually freaking want,
Mm.
not what you want to give them, but
Yep.
what they actually need, right?
Mm.
And I've equated this to people, to clients, needing a sandwich. They're hungry. They need a
Mm.
sandwich. And what we do as coaches and service providers, we do this thing. Yes, but okay, this stapler is like the most amazing stapler. You've never seen this stapler. It was crafted. The most expert craftsmanship in the state. And
Mm.
they're like, and the person's going, but I'm hungry.
I just want a
I just need a
sandwich.
sandwich. And you're like, but you know what? I tell you what, just for 24 hours, you get
Yeah.
50% off this stapler.
Yeah, yeah,
Again,
yeah.
with the offers, right? With the
It's not
freaking
meeting them where they're at too. Where
and
they're at is hungry.
They're
not
hungry.
not administration.
Exactly. But we do that. We tend to do that because we think that our expertise, we think we know what the public wants, or the market that we're the demographic that we're looking at. And when
Mm,
we're not listening, this is
mm,
the other thing. We're not listening. Now,
mm,
what you do, I think you have listened, because that is the biggest part. Is
yeah.
you can be really talented, like you said, you can be really great at what you do, but if people don't know about you, do you even exist if people
Mm,
don't know about you?
mm. It's
Right?
that old. It's that old. What's that old analogy? The, the tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear
Exactly. Is it?
it. You made a
Is
good point with the listening. So I was doing an advisory call with our members, and one of the members asked, like, "Hey, like, as you were growing with you, like, what were the key things you did to grow it?" And me and my head of sales was on there as well. And we were like, we just listen to what you guys want. So there was really, you guys just asked for stuff, and we're like, okay, if enough of you ask, I guess we're doing this now.
that's the key, and that is the thing, is that I know I'm going to drill this into everybody that's listening. Listen to what your people need and
Mm,
want, not what you want to give. Like for during COVID, I was extremely busy. I had a really great business, and it was all around podcasting. So it was about getting people booked on podcasts, but also creating their own podcast for their brand, right? Branded podcast for their business. Well, during COVID, whew, it was crazy. It was like I was doing really well. And then after that, I kept trying to sell them the stapler, right? And
yeah.
when I actually stepped back and took a look at it, the my potential clients did not want the stapler. They were hungry. They needed business. They needed people to book them on, on different programs, but they needed to sell their programs. They needed to get clients. So that's when, as soon as I shifted and I started working on that and not the podcast, then
Mm,
my business completely changed. Like,
mm,
I mean, completely changed.
yeah.
So it's listening and really tapping into what your audience actually needs.
Yeah, 100%.
And we talk about this too, clarity and consistency. Can you talk about that? Because that's the other thing. A lot of times people go, "Well, I built the website, or I posted a thing last week on Instagram. How come nobody's
Mm.
knocking down my door?"
So clarity and consistency. I can't remember who taught me this. I have a lot of different mentors. I'm kind of a slut for a good coaching program. But I think it was Jack DeLoisa, one of my mentors, probably like the longest one I've had, said you want to be clear, not clever,
Mm,
right? So as business owners in whatever kind of industry or niche that you're in, you've been doing a service for years, some of you decades, right? And
some
so
of us, some of us, yeah,
so the things that you do on a day-to-day basis, the things that are really basic to you, like for me, it's like, what button do I press next? It's like PhD level for everyone else,
yeah.
right? And so often what I see business owners do is they'll sometimes in an attempt to build authority and show expertise, is they'll
Hmm.
just massively confuse their audience
Yep.
with like buzzwords, jargon, and acronyms. But people can find it much easier to understand how they feel right now and how they'd rather feel instead, rather than the nuts and bolts and the three-letter acronyms they're going to get there. Right. And the consistency is key as well. I mean, like Hormozy talks about this a lot, just like how much sheer volume it takes. Like
Yeah.
even when it comes to like my ads, like just running ads consistently, but also just like consistently filming ads. There's a meme I'm gonna post where last week, me and Aiden, my videographer, who's gonna be here again in half an hour, he said we filmed 40 ads and it took you 41 minutes.
Wow.
Whereas a lot of people like they'll spend like 2 weeks scripting out their ads, and
Yeah.
then like getting the lighting and stuff right. I was like, just come over around like 9 or 10. We just set up a couch there, and I just had like a list of dot points. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And it's like ad after ad after ad after ad after ad after ad, and it's just I've got like an unfair advantage against all my competitors because I've got the gift of the gab, really. Just the sheer volume of ads that I could just overwhelm
Well, and
people
you
with.
come across as, we're in Australia, so you come across as a good old mate. You come across
Yeah.
as somebody that you'd want to hang out with. It's like,
Yeah.
that guy's cool. Plus, you weren't hit with the ugly stick, Brandon.
There you
You're a sharp looking guy, and I
I'm a
say
very
that
good
as a
barber.
lesbian. Okay, so that means you're freaking hot.
I've got a good barber that comes here, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you tell your mom and your dad thank you
for the jeans.
for the jeans. Yeah. No, but you know what? I think because the it's because it's unique. Isn't that interesting? Just you being you is unique. But we're
Mm,
coming from this perfectionist Kardashian lifestyle
mm,
world where everything, and that's also a message that I think is important for people is in your authenticity, be yourself.
mm,
First of all, it's exhausting to be something else, to be like
mm,
perfect. Everything is perfect, lighting, all this stuff, and not slipping up or anything like that. I think
mm,
when you're authentic and you're real,
mm.
people can connect with you. You're relatable.
100%.
If anything, I hope people walk away from this episode really just jazzed and excited about being themselves, their unique selves, and of course they are going to want to know how to find out about you. Where's the best place to get in touch with you and to show to have you show them to push which green button?
Just open your phone, I'll be there, trust me. But alternatively, you can go to www.whereyou.com.au. I like half deleted our website just to prove a point that you didn't need one. But trust me.
No, but where you said the origin of that name. Where
Oh
so
yeah.
it's where
Yeah, so like if you
WHERE
just imagine you're like
you the letter U.
yeah, just imagine you're like 12 pints in a bag deep in a nightclub and you're trying to figure out where your friend is, but you're like got like one eye closed and you're trying to
Yeah,
figure like where you that text message dot
that's
com
it.
dot au.
Oh my, that's so good. You're an absolute delight, Brendan, and I wish more continued success for you, mate. And just
Thank you.
I'll be stalking you, following you on all the socials. I know Brandon's on TikTok. He's obviously on Facebook. He's on all of the majors, and just continued success to you. I really
Thank you,
appreciate you
Christina.
coming on the
Appreciate that.
show.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And thank you, wonderful listeners and viewers. Those of you watching on YouTube, you get to see how hot Brandon is. For those that are listening, just imagine. Just imagine. Okay. If you want to find out more about this show and all the work that I do, all the coaching I do, and your free expert authority analysis that I offer anyone interested, it's 30 minutes of my energy and time and life force. And I will talk to you about your expert authority. You can find out more and book that in at expertauthoritycoach.com. All right. Until next time, you know what? Just keep being you. Be authentically you. Right? All right. Take care now.